Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Introduction to Business Organizations. Today we're going to be discussing, this is a series that you're either taking me online or face-to-face class. I teach at several community colleges, so look me up. Now, today we're going to be talking about, so there's I think 21 chapters. You already have my concept maps in a PDF file. You'll, as you're reading, you add on to it. We'll discuss this either in lecture. We already discussed this in lectures in the classroom, or what do you call it? Excuse me, in a discussion board in Blackboard course management system. You've been exposed to many of the terms and concepts here through Connect LearnSmart, is the publisher's software or ebook or e-learning that comes with this series we're doing. So right now, what I want you to do, I'm going to go through this. It'll take me about an hour, and it's going to be a summarization of what you've already known, what you've read, and all your notes, and see, hey, do my notes coincide with Dr. George's notes? Or what did I forget? And that's the way we do it. Now, or you even, while you're reading, listening to me, and you say, yeah, I already covered that. I understand that. I understand that. Oops, wait a minute. There's something new. Stop the video. There's a mind map. Stop it, pause it, write it, and then resume it. Remember, you can always turn my voice down a little bit. Some have been, watched this video several times, so they don't want to hear me again, but they do. But the more senses you utilize, the better it is. So what are we going to talk about? And I'm going to open this up to a larger scale. Those of you already know what I'm going to do, and I put a lot more verbiage than what I would require you to do. Just highlight the key words, because no matter what, how the exam is going to be phrased, the question, if you know the basics, you'll be able to use your critical thinking skills that we've been developing within this course. Okay? So I'm going to view this, and I'm going to do, I think, if I'm mistaken, let's see a 200. That 200 looks pretty good. All right? I just want to make sure, because some people will view this on their smartphone or their mini tablets. So I want to make sure it's easy for you to see. Okay, so what is marketing? Now, when I look at marketing, for lack of better words, when you read the book, and for those of you who have some kind of knowledge of marketing, marketing is the heart of the communication system between myself, the business owner or entity, to my customers, whether it's to the consumer, the everyday consumer, which we usually would do more mass marketing, or to business to business, which would be more of a niche marketing, more relationship building marketing. One, I get a lot of customers, maybe one-time deals. The other, business to business, I get repeat sales, and I get a steady flow of income coming in. Both will give me a steady flow of income, but it's marketing, my communications that goes out. So when I said marketing, some people say, well, I've taken Dr. George for advertising, I've taken Dr. George for sales, and I've taken Dr. George for the full marketing class. Remember, this is just one component in this series of understanding introduction foundations of business organizations. So each one of these chapters that we're discussing are full 1 or 2 semesters at a minimum to understand this. So if you're just taking this one class and say, I know everything I need to do in business, you're going to be in for a surprise. Okay, so when I'm looking at marketing, it's the heart, so it's the integrated. So when later on we're going to talk about advertising, when advertising, that's the actual physical communication tool for marketing. But marketing has to come up with what is the message that I want sent out or communicated to my constituents, my suppliers, or whoever my target market is. Once I understand that message that I want out there, then advertising will give the written or the verbal communication to the customers, focusing on that message. My sales staff will come in when they come and talk to the customers to reinforce that message. So the customer, when you take marketing, it has, we utilize the term of frequency as an exposure. Not in this book, but when you take me for a marketing class. And that means how many times, how often do I have to expose an individual to get a certain response back from that individual in buying my product, or at least talking about my product to other customers who may say, hey, that's just what I'm looking for. Good thing you brought that up. And that's part of the communication. How do I motivate? How do I stimulate? We've talked a couple of chapters ago, we discussed motivation for employees, but the same conceptual idea of motivating employees with Maslow and hygiene and motivators is transferred over to marketing. Only now, instead of motivate them to do the work, I'm trying to motivate them to spend the money that I paid them to do the work, so they buy my product, and then basically I can buy more supplies, hire more people, and it keeps the economy going. I just tied in the last several chapters. So you see, oh, now that makes sense. Okay, so for marketing to be successful, you have to find a need, and we have to fill it. So there has to be a need out there. Somebody needs something. Like when you look at, if I'm hungry, there's a need. I don't know how to cook, or I don't have time to cook. I will look up, Google it and see, or on my smartphone to see where there's a close restaurant, and then that'll take care of my need. Okay, now set of institution and processes for marketing to be able to exist, for lack of a better word, is creating communication, delivering and exchanging offerings. Remember, here's what I offer, because there's a lot of competition out there, other similar products. But what's the value that I add? And then a lot of time it could be real value, or it could be perceived value. Why does everyone want an iPhone instead of a Samsung? It's perceived that iPhones are cooler, perceived that iPhone is a different status. Why do a lot of people want Blackberries, even though people say Blackberries, smartphones are kind of outdated? They may be outdated with the technology or the look, but they're still the best encrypted device that could protects me from other people being able to read my emails or my private conversation. And okay, I was going to throw in, I was wondering if this is of Hillary Clinton, Senator Clinton, that's running for president, when they're talking about the email controversy, if they had a BlackBerry security on that, and how are they going to remarket her, or how they're going to remarket other individuals. I don't try to put politics. I try to think, we all are a brand. When I say, when you're taking this class here in marketing, think of yourself as a brand. When you're working for a company as a brand, you know the pricing, you know something about it. That's through marketing, communication to the customer, what we stand for. And the same thing as individuals. We tell people how we dress, how we act, how we communicate. We create our own brand image. Okay? All right, so cultivating customer relationships for customers, clients, partners, and society. That's what marketing does. It's exchanging ideas and communicating that. And some of the websites of marketing today, and if I'm looking at marketing, they have to identify product features. E-commerce is one way of looking at the new generations. It was Generation Y, millennials. Now it's Generation Z and Generation Alpha the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's another course I was teaching. So now Dave, or the last chapter, excuse me. The last chapter in this book, when they're talking about motivating different generation. So it added in there. So somebody came up with the 2 new generation. How am I going to market to them? What is the technology is going to be completely different? They may, they may think email. Who the heck emails? That's old fashioned. It may be a whole different way of doing it going forward. But marketing is that flexible. We still got to communicate to the market that we're targeting. So identify product features. That's what the websites do. Find the best prices, question sellers. You have blogs and social networks. A lot of companies, a president, everyone has a blog, so they can communicate whether they're responding to the blog, or they have a staff of individuals that are sending the message, or the brand message to the individuals. Who knows? And once in a while, you do actually have the individual in there. I'm not saying that they don't. All right? But there's so many people going on there, and they try to respond to everything. Okay, marketing concept includes 3 parts. Customer orientation, you got to need the customer. Find out what customers want and providing it. That's the market and the need. Service orientation, customers want to be serviced, making sure everyone in the organization is committed to customer satisfaction. From the person bagging, anyone's doing, even cleaning the office. Because when a customer comes, the atmosphere. I'm talking about high quality. I'm going to a restaurant. If you see dirt and stuff there, you may say, "Oh, this is dirty. I wonder what the kitchen is like." Okay. Profit oriented, like it or not, I'm a business. Even for nonprofit, they have to make the contributions have to be used wisely and expenses have to be controlled so they could utilize that money to help their cause. Okay, so profit focusing on goods and services that will earn the most profit. Okay, same thing when you're looking at which jobs or which tasks I want to do, you're looking at what's the reward for that. Okay, both profit and nonprofit organizations. Okay, when you look at CMR, customer relationship management, and this is something important because even if I'm a small business, medium business, or larger business, or even when I'm dealing with other departments within my organization, because it's larger or medium, those are my internal customers. They pay me internally with function numbers versus cash, but it's just as good, or credits for lack of better words. Customer relation management, learning as much as you can about the customers, doing what you can do to satisfy or exceed their expectation, so they come back and buy from me. Okay, or now something. All right, let's do it this way. Organizations seek to enhance customer satisfaction, building long-term relationships. When the author talked about or the book, and even research is showing that it's up to 5 times more costly to find new customers than it is to maintain the old one. It's no different if you look at your own relationship with your loved one, if you're married, or with your partner or whatever, or your friends or anything else. Uh, uh, it's easy to say, "I still love you." It's easy to say, "How are you doing? You're doing a great job," than to go out and find a new person, a new mate, or anything else. Because then you have to be nicer, whiner, and dine 'em. I'm just kidding. All right, I'm going to bring a little humor into the mix. But when I'm looking at statistically, customers that come to me, they buy my product. Look, if you go to McDonald's, Burger King, Target, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, wherever you're going to, if they treat you properly, you're going to come back. If you had a bad experience, you may give them one more chance. Second experience, you can just avoid them completely. And then after a while, the customers ain't coming, then there's no more business. So when you're working in retail, you may sometimes get upset with the customers, but if it wasn't for the customers, you wouldn't have a job. Okay, remember, it's a customer relationship. Just think that in your mind. Even when you're a business owner, when you see employees treating customers wrong, be careful because it's word of mouth. Word of mouth nowadays in social media, and it could go like that, viral, as they say. Okay, today's firms like Priceline, Servicity, use CMR. They allow customers to build a relationship with the suppliers. Okay, now emerging mobile markets, digital technology to continue to grow. So if I look at this, when I look at the consumer demands are expected to rise in this area. Consumers now want to interact anywhere and anytime. Remember, I'm going a little slower than normally, but you could always stop me, add on. Just don't. You could read it if you're good, but a lot of times if you could write it, the more senses you utilize, the better you'll remember. The higher probability you'll be able to retain it when you need it for the exam. And a lot of this information here is going to be for your paper. You're going to be writing up for me, my feasibility paper. Okay, consumers want to interact anytime, right? Right, technology, and that gives me that option. I want to use information, new ways to create value for them. Tell me everything else. I can compare right there. Or I'm in the store, tell me where the sales are, or notify me when you have the sale. For me, consumers expect personalized experience. I will only notify you on items that you bought or similar items, not everything in the store because you have no interest unless you note it or update your profile. And once I know your profile, I know how to, if you take me for consumer behavior, you'll be able to know when to put the right triggers or how to motivate that individual with positive reinforcement. Okay? Now, simplicity, always keep it simple. Consumers want all interaction to be easy. That's why when a lot of times your phone dial 1, dial 2, you write it. That's not easy. That's time consuming. I want to call in, hello, yeah, I want to talk to so and so, or I got this issue, I got one operator, gets information, and transfer me right away. I had the human contact. still need the human contact. A little different when I'm online because I could take my time on it. But if I'm on the phone, uh, I'm calling because I want to interact. Okay. Now, service with a smile. Okay, you have to have 6 steps for keeping customer happy, and this is kind of interesting. I'm not going to go through a build trust, emphasis on long-term relationship, listen. Remember, God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth. Treat your customers like stars. Show appreciation. I really appreciate. Thank you for coming in. I know you didn't buy anything, but thank you anyway. Maybe next time I could satisfy. Maybe you could find something. In a few weeks we're gonna have a sale. I noticed you're looking at this thing. Always give them something positive. Not buy nothing. Looking at there you go. Just coming into the store eating the candy or something else. It's your job as a sales force to motivate them, to push them. My job as marketing is to bring them in. The sales force job is once they're there for them to leave as with a cash transaction and a happy customer. Okay, cost acquiring new customers, and we already talked about that. 4 areas of U.S. Marketing. You have production area. I'm not going to go into this. Selling, marketing concept, and customer relationship. Where we're really at now is CNR, customer relationship. And what they're looking at, oh, geez, this didn't come out here. Excuse me. And we talked about that. Okay, I had a separate thing. Okay, so we're all set on this. Okay, so that's where I had it up here. I just did it. How did I get emerging market? Okay, I just left that one there. Okay, all right. So I won't go into the fact. I should have had the. Remember, we're live, so just I had my one of my foot the way I position the concept maps. I can move them around. I'll change it later. Look, you're going to be doing a presentation for me. Either in the classroom, we're going to be recording, or if you're taking me online, you'll be doing the YouTube similar to this. Everyone's got a face camera. You have, I see a lot of movies and everything else. You just put yourself up. And hi, my name is George, the student, and here's my product. Or if we're working a team, so you'll figure it out. Okay. Now, a nonprofit marketing. Now, when I look at nonprofit marketing, some of the tactics for nonprofit. For nonprofit, I still got to market. I still let them know of my cause. Only that the administrative and the cause, my profit, for a profit that I use and give back to my shareholders, I use that profit to give back to the cause. To either help animals, help, what do you call it, battered women or battered men, or homeless, or whatever the cause is, cancer. I'm just throwing some out there. So that's for nonprofit, just to basically help the cause. But you still have to pay the administrative and costs out there. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we get into accounting. Okay, so some of the tactics are fundraising, public relations, special campaigns, changing public opinions. Remember, a lot of times this is also the same thing that could be utilized in the profit, but this is more a focus for the nonprofit. Ecological practices, increasing organizational membership. And you see when you have Channel 11, public service, say, hey, a given here, we'll put your name on there, we'll give you something, because it's a nonprofit organization, but they need to still pay the electricity, pay the airtime, pay the production, pay the so there's still an expense on there, but they do send a message, and it's good educational broadcasting out there. Okay, now some of the strategies. Remember, nonprofit. Determine the goals and objectives, focus on long-term marketing, exercise planning, train and develop long-term volunteers, carefully segment the target market. Some people may not give to one cause for whatever reason. If you're trying to give a cause to, and I'll just use myself, to the to the Catholic, and I'm a Southern Baptist, I may not give to that cause because that's not my religion. Or if I'm giving a cause to cancer, I may not want to give a cause to cancer. I may want to give a cause to for diabetes. So remember, so there's only so much you're going to give. So censor, make sure. Nonprofit, very focused. And if you build the membership up, then you could always bring other members in, because they'll be they'll pay a flat fee. Okay. Now the 4Ps. You're going to see marketing. 4Ps of marketing. Okay, let me just close these up so we can talk. And here's the pick out of that. So you're going to have, right, I'm a marketing manager, I'm a store owner, myself, trying to get the next job. I have to look at myself as a product. What can I offer? I'm looking how much do I want to be paid. So now I'm looking at my product. What's my product? What's the value? How much going to cost? What's my expensive? How much would I pay for it? How much would the customers pay? Where's the place? Where am I getting the delivery from? Where's my manufacturing, my warehouses, and basically promotion. How do I tell them, send my message, tell them what the pricing is? I'm in an area, I'm just new, and people, so they're aware that I'm out there, and I have to remind them always in marketing, because if I don't come out there, they'll forget about me. So I give a coupon. I'm in the paper. I'm some kind of advertising, something out there. So I'm in their space. I want to say face, but in their space, so they see me, and every now and then, when they need the thing, it's the last thought in their mind, and they'll be able to pull it because its repetition is embedded in their thinking process, psychology. Okay, so what's a product? Okay, now if I'm looking at a product, and here's the definition of product: good or service. When I look at product, and from this perspective, goods or service means the same thing, interchangeable. Satisfies the customer's want or need. We have test marking. You have to test it. That's what you're doing the feasibility right now. You're just going out there and thinking about, does it make sense? Then later on, you'll take me for retail merchandising, or you'll take me for advertising or something else. And what you've done, people say, I've got it. What do I need? This is the same project. No, you've got the basic. You're an architect. You have here. Now I'm putting on the shell, and now I'm going to go in and I'm the interior decorator. I'm putting the furniture in. How's it going to arrange? What's your personnel? Outside's there. That's what you did in the in this class. You're just going to create the outside shell, think of an idea, think of a concept, a feasibility, and then you take me for other classes and you start designing the inside. You'll do well, okay? So now brand name. What's a brand? Word, letter, group of words that differentiates one seller or goods from another. And it could be flexible or high quality versus it's so. Okay, now pricing. What are you going to price the good? You got to look at the competitors' pricing. You got to look at the production, your cost. You have to look at the distribution. How many get it from one part to the other? We're going to have a couple of chapters look at logistics. You'll look at high and low price strategy. If I have it high, this shows quality, but it's too high. If I have it low, it shows average goods, nothing exceptional on that. So how do I bring it? And that's where marketing and advertising, when you talk about promotion, have a higher price, coupon it down, discount it down. The price is still, look, I got this thing's worth $500. I got it for $250. Wow, what a deal. And it may only paid you $75 to make it a $50. In the customer's mind, you're not lying. Here's the prices. Here you're willing to pay, right? Remember, it's a free market. I'm not overcharging them. It's not a commodity that they have to have. It's either a luxury item or something else. And there's other competitors out there, so we could do pretty good. And remember, when I look at marketing, always be ethical, always be fair, because if you look at what happened with Volkswagen, if you look at what happened and we'll talk about Volkswagen or Nike when they had their shoes, the runner from Kenya was running a race, and then the insult came out, and he lost. He won the race, but he didn't beat the world the time by a couple of seconds, and maybe that slowed him down or distracted him, so he didn't have the momentum. But look at Nike, didn't do well for the brand. How are they going to recoup with this? What are they going to say? I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting to watch. Okay, now where are you going to place the product? You're in the four please. You're going to have the middleman, and that's the distribution, logistic, or the warehouses or store. Am I making it or I'm bringing it in? Because getting products to the consumer is critical. And then we're going to talk about promotion. And then part of promotion is promotion. All techniques that sellers use to inform about their product and motivate them to purchase their products. Advertising, personal selling, public relations, sales promotion. I think I said here was all techniques sellers use to inform people about their products and motivate them to purchase them. And then viral marketing is basically strictly someone else talking or out, what do you call it, communicating that this product is the best without you knowing that they're being paid for it. Okay? All right, so now let's go. Now, perfect promotion. Get customers emotional about your product. And remember, nonprofits do a good job, or when they're looking for that. I'm sorry, I just want something to drink. Because emotions, if I get them emotionally involved, that's like the glue that'll keep all the my messages, my products, my value, because that emotion will lock it together. Okay, make your product built to love. I use emotion-led in advertising. Not manipulated, but emotions to get them feeling. When you look at charitable contributions, they do that. They see someone that's in dire need, and in your emotion, I really want to help. But the picture may be there, the dire need, but you have to look at the administrative costs. And those have had me before in ethics, because if the administrative cost is 90% and only 5% goes, that's the company's in dire need. You need to have about like 10 or 15% administrative costs and 85% to 80% going to help the cause. Be a likable person. I'm trying to do that. Most of us are in retail. Having confidence, being intriguing, without being overpowering, show interest in others, be enthusiastic and respectful. Now, market research, you have to analyze the market first, because I have to understand what's in the market, what my competitors doing, what's my customers like, who are my customers, what's their social life, what's the economic structure, what's their lifestyles, what's changing, what's on their mind. And once I analyze the markets to determine the challenges, opportunities, we're going to talk about the SWOT in the next chapter, finding the information needed to make good decisions, identify the products and consumers using them, so they use them now and come back in the future. I'm looking at sustainability in the market for my brand, that people buy, use it, and or tell other people this is the best brand in the world. Look what it's done for me. It's helped me, and now they'll come back. One-time deals a fad. When I teach retail merchandising, a trend is a little better, maybe 2 or 3 months, but I want a long term. I want that classic. I want people coming back. And then it depends on your business, but your researchers say, here's what's changing. You're not changing quick enough. Here's what your customers, your clients want, and now you have to adjust to it. Okay, 4 steps in marketing research: identifying the problem, collecting research data, analyzing the data, and choosing the best solution to implement it. Those are the 4 steps. I'm going to go use them all separately now, because it'll be easier for you when you come around here. Okay, defining the problem, because there's a lot here. Okay, what's the present situation? What are the alternatives that I have? What information I need to make sure I can make a good decision? How should the information be gathered? Okay, now, collecting the research data. Secondary data, stress it right now in your small business or anything. If I could get majority of my information, secondary data, my cost is less expensive, maybe more credible, not specifically to my question, but pretty darn close, where it costs me pennies on a dollar, or like 1,000 names or some very little cost. So that is I always utilize secondary first, and now I understand, or I think I understand the market, and that's when I use my primary data and do the surveys and everything else. So let's go into secondary data. Existing data that has been previously collected, sources like government, incurs no expenses, usually easily accessible. Data doesn't provide all the needed information, everything I said. Now, primary data, in-depth information by marketers for their own research, or business owners to collect primary data. Telephone, online surveys. You have monkey survey. You have different surveys, personal interviews, and focus group. They talked about focus group more, because when I'm looking at focus group, I have an advertising or a question. I ask them, and I have people watching their expression. Nowadays, they got computers. They could watch it. They could sense if I'm sweating, if I'm nervous, or if my emotions have been stimulated. I said, yes, so okay, I hit a nerve, or I'm angry, or I'm twitching. All those is what a focus group tells me. Plus, they give me their honest opinion. Now, the focus group gets paid. But I'm looking for remember, a focus group is usually a sample size of the larger group that I'm trying to sell my product. I can't interview everyone. It's not cost effective, not efficient. But I get a different variety, different ages, lifestyle, and I bring them in, and I could kind of get a good feeling, depending on the confidence level. Usually fairly well. I could be wrong, but 90% of the time they're fairly on target. A focus group who meet under direction of discussion leaders to communicate opinions. Okay. All right. Now, I got the data, researched the data, went to the focus group. What I'm going to do with all this information? You gathered it. What are you going to do with it? Think about it. I got to analyze the data. Now I got it. I have everything else. What is it telling me? It's telling me marketers must turn the data into useful information. Marketers must use their analysis to plan the strategies. How could I change? Make recommendations, or say, hey, the data's telling me I'm on course. Let it be. Okay, that's what my GPS tells me, right? Look at it that way. It's something else. It's analyzing constantly where I'm at with road, and it's putting me back on target and telling me to take this detour or go this way, and you'll come back on to the location you're trying to go to. Marketers must evaluate their actions and determine if further research is needed. Looking now, remember, so that's out of when I'm looking at this. Where the heck am I? 4 steps for marketing research, and we're on step number 4. Right? Marketer must analyze. Okay. Implementation is real easy. Put into action. Even if you implement it, make sure it's changing because you did your best job and you did an excellent job creating a plan, the strategic, and now you're live and now you have to make those tweaks. Like you ordered a cabinet and you've measured everything else. You measured here, you measured there, and you try to put it in, but right here it's just a little bit off. Oh, I measured this side, but nothing's perfectly square in the house. This is made out of metal, welded, and even that has some, it'll be pretty right on there. Okay, so when I'm looking at that, I had to make some adjustments to fit it. Got to shimmy it, wiggle it in, or trim a little bit here, but I have to do it. And so I implemented it. Don't say it's going to do well. You look at it to make sure that you do the adjustment. That's through the communication, the feedback with the people that are watching the process. Okay? Now, key benefits. Okay, I got stuck a little bit. ABC. Key benefits of marketing research. Analyze the customer's need and satisfaction, current market opportunities. Look at different strategies. Analyze the process and tactics you're using now. Should I change them? Remember, it's nice to do modifications to do drastic changes. Analyze the reason for goals and achievement of failures. Hey, you're going to mess up. Failures are happening. That's part of business. That's just like risk management. People won't have a job for risk management. Insurance company won't have a job for risk management. It's just a risk management. It happens. Things happen. So what happens when you do it? How do I failed, didn't work out. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a risk taker. I look at it, try to find out what went wrong, and I try it again with modification. Well, I think it'll work this time. It just fell apart. If it fell apart, why did it fall apart? I wasn't talking, I was making faces there. I know sometimes in video it's a little lag time, depending on your software, but it should go smoothly. Okay, ways to find out what consumers think. Conduct informal consumer surveys. Host a focus group. Listen to competitor customers. Survey your own sales force. They hear it every day, and even people in the register on the floor, they hear customers. They know more. We don't tap into them. You don't tap into them. I go, why don't you just ask them? They don't have to. They'll talk. They'll say customers want this product. They think it's ugly. They think I don't have enough room here. Look at them. Talk to your customers. You talk to them. Remember previously, listen to them and respond and say, hey, that was a good idea. Thank you for helping me. And again, I think just thank them. I didn't think about customers. I didn't realize I was doing something wrong. Accept my apologies. Good customer relationship management. Okay? And if you want to take those classes, I think both community colleges, College Lake County and Harper that I teach at, one's in Cook County, Illinois, the other one's in Lake County. Look up their business social science, ask them, or look up, they both have a business arm that strictly does training for businesses on one-on-one. No credit hours, pays a little bit more, but they'll come to your doorstep or to your office and customize a training program. And you're helping the community. You're paying taxes already for it. It's part of the community. It's a good social responsibility aspect from business to business, and also from consumers to the college that gives you the opportunity to keep your skill sets current. Right? Employers and employers both. Okay, environmental scanning. In marketing, I'm looking at, and here's the chart. I'm not going to pick, I'll go this way. I'm not going to go through there because basically my chart here, you have it from the book. You can look at it, stop it. Because look, if I'm looking at global, I flip this on here, and I got trade agreements. Where's global? See, trade agreements, compensation. I created that for you. I provided you the headers. Writing them in yourself. That's part of learning. We discussed this in class. You already probably had that all written out. So there's no reason to go through it. You got the chart. Look at it. The whole thing still looks at it. When I'm looking at this environmental forces, it's all looking at where's my place at, what's my product, what's affecting my price, the SWOT, strength, weakness, and opportunities. Strengths and weakness are within the organization, opportunities and threats are outside. I, as a business owner, have to be aware of it. As a marketer, if there's an opportunity, a threat against me, or something that's, and it could be false accusation, I respond through marketing, through advertising, to contain it, or to put my side of the story, or utilize public relations, which is a little more credible than a paid advertising, to convince the general public this is my position, and here's how I see it, and here's what I say through my here's my side of the story. And then you have the two different sides. There's always two sides to the story, and which one's more credible depends on your delivery and your past relationships with your stakeholders, not stockholders, stakeholders. Okay, so you have all the information in there. So, but it all based on price, promotion. Price is a little different depending on the economic condition of a country or a cycle that we're in. Same thing with product. Where are they located? Where does it make sense? Okay. Now, ABCs of marketing, they throw this in, you take sales, same ABCs, always be customer focused. Got it? Because, to a point, I'm a business person. I am very customer focused, I help them out, but they're going to be so obnoxious or disrespectful to my employees. I ask them to leave here, because that's not my type of, this is stakeholder. One person is disrespectful, it shows me my credibility and my determination to provide the best service and be a socially responsible business owner, similar like you are as a customer or a student. Benchmark against the best firms, continuously improve your performance, develop the best package, empower your employees, focus on relationships, and goal achievement is the reward. Okay, business to business or business to consumer. Business to consumer, real easy. All individuals and households that want goods and services for personal use and have the resources to buy them. You're never going to see on a test, you're never going to see consumer to consumer. eBay's consumer. No, eBay's not consumer to consumer. When you're selling a product, you take the role of a business person. And I'm bidding on that, I take the role of a consumer. You see what I'm talking about? So there's no consumer to sell. The minute I'm selling something, it's the role or the attributes of what I would call the business functionality. All right, now so this one is business selling to consumer. This other one is business selling to business to business. My background is business to business, but as I said before, from a marketing perspective, I'm marketing to businesses. But for me to add that value added, I understand my customer, my business to business clients, which are residential customers or consumers. So if I'm selling Pepsi to Jewel or not Dominic St. Mariano's or to Walmart or whatever, or Target, I'm trying to hit them all so they don't say, oh, your favorite for one. I shop at all of them, wherever's on sale. I'm an American shopper. Come on. So when I'm targeting them, I'm trying to say buy more Pepsi. I have to have the price to stimulate. I'll pay for your advertising, for something else in your flyers, as long as you put Pepsi or Coca-Cola, or whatever the name of the brand is, and I'll help you stimulate your market, because they don't need my product if they can't get customers to buy my product. So you see what I mean? So I have to go there, even though I'm not selling to them directly. I'm selling to them indirectly through by understanding my business to business clientele's their customer base better than they understand it. Okay? Let's see, individuals and organizations buy goods and service production to rent, sell, individual marketing, smaller than consumers, more rational. They're not just by, if you look at your logistics or your procurement individual, he's not like by emotion. He or she's basically looking at is the value, does it reach my specification, could it meet my timing, the delivery, does it meet the needs or objectives of my production, or the needs or objectives of why I'm ordering this particular part or service from an authorized vendor. Okay? And individually marketed, smaller geographically, end of use product, consumer. The consumer may use it for one item, and I utilize the concept of toilet paper. Toilet, is the end use of the product. Toilet paper, or wipe your butt with, for lack of better words. Okay, if I buy it as a consumer, that's what I'm doing it for. I'm using it for the practicality. I'm using it to use it and dispose of it. If I'm buying it from a business perspective, I'm not using it for my restrooms, because then I'm basically a consumer. Or you could go that way and say it's kind of an expense. Let's say if I'm buying it, I buy 1,000 cases. No way I could use 1,000 cases. And the reason I'm using it for me, because I'm not using it for my personal use. I'm selling baskets because college kids are going back to school. Here's a nice welcome to college basket with your toiletry, soap and everything else, shampoo, or for guys a backpack. So I'm putting the toilet paper inside there. So my end use is always, when you're looking, and the reason I use toilet paper is what's the end use of the product will determine whether it's a business to business concept. Remember, because they said I keep on reselling product, I buy it, that's why I don't pay tax on it, because it's a component of my product, which ultimately I get another several components, and ultimately I sell to my consumer as an iPhone or a S or a Samsung S. Kind of nice. iPhone got a iPhone S, Samsung got a Samsung S. Okay. All right, business to business. Okay, we're good on that. Okay, now, and then okay, we're good. Okay, marketing to consumers. If I look at marketing consumers, I'm almost done in about 20 minutes. Let's see what I have here. Okay, when I'm marketing to consumers, I have to look at, because I'm doing more of a mass marketing. A little different when I do business to business, because they're, like we talked before, geographic, smaller numbers. So I'm doing a larger area. I can't market to all of them. It's going to be too costly. So I segment my market by different things, by segment, target, geographic, demographic, psychographic, benefits, and volume usage, by size and diversity of customers. Forces me, the marketer or the business owner, to decide which groups do you want to serve. I'm in a neighborhood. Who comes into my store? There may be different kind of cultures, but only one type of individual comes to my store. I try to market to them and then find something to draw in the other individuals that may not consider my store a store on their venue list that they would shop at. Okay? And I used to use the example of Target and Walmart. There's some individuals that never walk into Walmart, but they'll walk into Target because they figure Walmart is not to their style, for lack of better words. And they're both the same, carry the same products, but it's just their perception of something, which is nothing wrong. But marketing, so Target said, hey, we are Target, a little bit higher than Walmart, and that's where they're at. And the same thing with Costco and Sam's. One is a little bit higher price, carries similar items, but now Sam's is trying to market their way, trying to convince consumers that Sam's and Walmart are two separate entities. Where Costco doesn't have that identity crisis or the similarity crisis, or what we call cannibalization, because one is buying out of the other instead of brand new customers coming in. So your market is kind of limited. Are they, because they're still Walmart customers, but not specifically Sam's customers. Or Costco's, for lack of better words, does not have like a target that's a part of it, so they are standalone. So people look at them as a high-end warehouse slash consumer market. Okay, so I'm looking at the why I should diversify by size so I could target. I'm going to segment it by the market, which divides total market into groups with similar characteristics. I'm not stereotyping, similar characteristics, the size and diversity of the consumer market. And one thing I could say, if I'm going in a certain market, I could break down people who have brand new cars. They have different needs than somebody who has a car 5 years or up to 5 years old, another one 5 years to 10. So I could do something like that. There's still individuals, male, female, but they have different needs. One's more breaking down. One just wants to fix it, so they may be looking for a low-cost mechanic. The other one's top of the line because it's brand new. I paid a lot of money for it. This one depreciated. Its value is less, so they don't want to spend as much into it, but still want it to be functional and reliable. Different markets, so I'll sell them a little differently. Okay, now target marketing is selecting which segments an organization can serve profitably, even for nonprofit. Which one's going to pay or give me some cash inflows so I could make my product and pay and reward my shareholders, not not stakeholders, shareholders, for investing in my organization or my business. Okay, geographic segmentation is dividing the market by geographic. It makes sense. You have the city, you have the suburbs, you have by different towns. You're looking at Grays Lake, you're looking at Palatine, you go to Joliet, right? The different you can segment it because depends on the cluster of individuals in that area. It doesn't make sense when one person go to Joliet, drive all the way up to Waukegan or Zion. It's from one end of the state. You're not unless there's a lot of money or a lot of potential for sales, you'd open up a subsidiary out there. Okay, but you would just break it down by there in that area and you just sell to that market there. Okay, demographic segmentation. Now here we're going to go dividing the market by age, income, education, and demographic variable. Well, look at age. Look at mine. I'm very conservative. I used to have long hair, but look at me now, very conservative. But to a lot of people my age that may have more gray hair, may be not as mobile as I am, or they may be more active than I'll ever be, more muscular, whatever. Or they might, I might like this kind of music, they may like classical, I might like heavy rock. So when I'm looking at age is just giving me general. I got so many people in this age group, and here's some similarities. They all need something, okay? Got certain characteristics that I could break it up and target to them, okay? Now, psychographic, and here I'm looking at kind of dividing the market by group values, interests, opinions. I want to save lifestyle, depends on the author, didn't use it, but you could throw that in there. Okay, now benefits segmentation. Okay, dividing the market according to products, benefits the customers prefers. Volume usage, I could always say that's what Costco's and Sam does. The more you buy, the economies of scale, I could reduce the price by the volume, or I could look at the market. I'm not going to open up, I may have a little store, but do I expand to a larger store? Colleges do the same thing. When they have their extension site, they're small, offering a variety of classes, community college. I teach at community colleges, so I understand how they're doing. So they're going out there. They start off small. College Lake County, for a fact, started off small in some of their extension sites. Now they're full-blown campuses because the population in the area grew, and it could sustain the full campus with. You could go to one campus and complete your full degree. Is what the issue is when they consider a full campus instead of just an extension site. A lot of four-year university have extension site, certain degrees that are profitable, and there's enough customers or students in that area, they'll offer that degree program at that site. If not, you have to hit several extension sites or go to the main campus. Okay? and then segmenting graphs. And here's basically if I'm looking geographic, Northwestern, demographics, age, male, female, and broken down 11 to 18, 19 to 34 is in the same age what they consider out of the teenage age. It still has the same likes and dislikes. Schools, so this was pretty good. And the other one is when I'm looking at the benefits, comfort, health, luxury, psychographic personality values. Oh, there is lifestyle on there. Okay. Okay, now marketing to small segments, real quickly. You have niche marketing is identifies small but profitable market segments designed to find products or for them. One-to-one marketing, that's usually sales, developing unique mix of goods and services for each individual consumer. And if you look at this, a makeup that they'll take a test on your face and they'll be able to analyze and give you just the right mixture of natural, organic protein or vitamins, whatever, to take the wrinkles out of their face. You see how it worked on mine? I'm just kidding. Okay. Now, mass marketing, we talked about that. Developing products and promotion to please a large group of people. Movie industries try to do that. What are people into now? All right. Looks like a lot of never mind. It's kind of scary what's in there. Well, you have the holidays coming up. Okay, relationship marketing rejects the idea of mass production. Remember, in business to business, not mass production. It's one on one. But they're trying to bring that same concept. If you're a small business, what brings customer in? You know them by their first name. They talk to you. They find out about you, and you feel kind of guilty. You want to buy something from them because they're really good people. When I walk into a larger department store or a discount store, it's just large and it's informal. Yes, sir, can I help you? They smile. Hi, have a nice day. They say the same thing over and over 50,000 times. It's like, all right, but you still have to smile. I still kind of feel, they're not mean at me, but it's still different than a smaller store because they're not as busy. They have time to talk to you, and that's what you have to do with business to business. But their largest sales that way. Okay, keys to successful relationship marketing: open communications with your customer. Be frank with them. Stay in contact with your customers through emails, through some of the apps. Trust, honesty, ethical behavior, consistently reliable service. Like it or not, I paid for it. I don't want to come back and get an exchange. Well, we gave you one for it's the time I had to take it apart. I had to drive to the store. My time is worth something. Dr. George, give me a break. Remember, give them good quality. So they say, I brought this and it lasted me. So you say, they're never going to replace it. Fine. Most stuff 5-10 years, if you forget where they bought it from afterwards, or maybe not. But you have that. But then look, I got my DVDs are good, but it doesn't play the new format, or it doesn't have the Netflix. It doesn't have. I'm trying to sell. It doesn't have stream. It doesn't have a lot of things in there that not the new ones have for a third of the cost. I got it because the benefits or the new technology will replace the old. Okay, buying decision in the process. PowerPoint. Let's look at the buying decision. If I'm looking at this, right, so you don't have to go, you can stop it. You have marketing influences, perception, attitude, type of purchases, reference groups. All these affect the consumer. If you notice a woman, why a woman? Because women now are the biggest power, financial force in the United States, or even worldwide. Because of the economy, a lot of men lost their jobs because of construction or the trades, the good paying jobs. So women had to pick up the slack, for the better words, but they now control the finances. They watch the money. They're not, they still spend it, but not just like a guy. I feel like spending it. They're looking a little more frugal, looking at, hey, okay, we can spend this. Are we getting the best value for our price? So all this is, you throw this in here, but even for women, all the impact, all the forces are problem solving. So now it's going to happen. So I'm looking at this, the key references I have on here. But here's the decision making problem. We have a whole thing on that. I'll just pass it. You have to understand the problem, not the symptom. What do I want to solve? Where do I find it? You Google or research it, or friends or peer group, alternative, or the doctor or your instructor. Alternative evaluation, you look at it, you purchase the decision, yes or no, You buy it, post purchase, evaluate. Every time I buy something, I go in for something, I see something better, I think, I bring it home and I go, man, I wish I bought the other thing. But then when I look at it, I say, no, I did the right decision. But it depends on the marketing or the advertising that says, hey, this is good for this, and I look at the other, I did get a better deal. Or I go on Google and I do the reviews. What's the best product? What's the review on this product? And I get a good understanding, okay? So now my top challenges, marketing can be challenging for both business to consumers or businesses to business because you got brand awareness, the brands that look similar. Social media, let me just move this over a little bit here. Apologize. Social media, converting leads into consumers or customers, budgeting, increasing profit, and this is from the entrepreneur. If you looking where the sources come from. Somebody asked me before, you got this information, where do you get this? You know, it's in a book, it's in everything else, but fine. Some individuals may see it, so here's your source. Okay, business to business. Who are business to business customers? Are manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers, the government's business to business. Good, a lot of paperwork, but it's good to get an account with them. They're always going to be around. Hospitals, schools, and charity. Products are often sold and resold several times before reaching the final consumer. And we talked about that later on. And here's the chart with the differences. This is the one I'm looking at. So it kind of tells you everything we're going to talk about. It's the last one. Okay, geographically, by products, right? Consumer market, the business to market. Required technical, complex products, the business to business. Less technical. Remember, I only got one computer. In a business, you have a whole network of anywhere from 5 up to a couple thousand, or 1,000 for lack of better words. If you're customers tend to be larger customers, but they buy larger. Markets are geographically concentrated. Buyers are more rational, and then emotional. Sales are direct, and promotions focuses. Okay? All right, let me just move this over here. Let me just bring this all down, and we've done pretty good today, class. Sorry. I use several programs, so I always forget. At least you have a general idea what's going on here, right, class? Let's see, I think I do it 100. Do 100. Okay. Do 100 on here. All right, here's what we covered today. We covered everything. I think chapter 13 was a very interesting chapter. We covered a lot of information. Let me just make it a little bit larger here. Okay. Talked about marketing, customer relationship, areas. This one here, different 4 areas. We're in, and it's nice to see history. I didn't spend time on that. I didn't spend time in the lecture. Let's just go forward because we're more in a relationship. The whole thing's relationship, especially global, different culture with low techs and high techs with relationship attributes. Like it or not, we had to be more relationship. How do I do a perfect promotion? We're going to have that down the road. Find out what customers think. Surveys. Remember, secondary sources is your best and expensive. Then you go to your primary after you have a good general idea. Make sure you utilize these concepts and terms in your final paper. And if I went too quick, stop me, go forward. The more senses you utilize your voice, me writing, the better you're going to be. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and I want to thank you again for taking this course with me. And hopefully you'll take other classes with me. If you happen to stumble this on YouTube, try to look me up. I'm either at College of Lake County or at Harper College. Ask for the Business Social Science and ask for Dr. George Mochocki, and let's see what I'm teaching. You'll help me out, all right? So it's a win-win for everyone, the school, the community, you're learning, you got a good solid foundation, and I'll see you in chapter 14. I forget what 14 was, and it may be pricing. I'll talk to you later. Bye.